And then book number 2, which is this one here, was the cash flow quadrant. Quadrant means 4. And the quadrant was the 4 people that make up the world of business. E stands for employee, S stands for self-employed, B stands for business owner, and I stands for investor. So my poor dad always said to me, son, go to school and get a job. So he was programming me to come here. But I kept saying, but I want to be rich. My mother says, don't listen to your dad, My mother was a nurse. She says, if you really want to be rich, you should become a doctor. They make a lot of money. So my mother was saying become, specialist, self-employed, or small business owner, independent. You hear people say, if you want to be successful, get a profession. Something you can fall back on. Become a plumber, electrician, attorney, accountant, something you can fall back on. Because these guys are the smart guys. These are the people that become doctors, lawyers, accountants, and they're really the brains of the class. My rich dad said to me, Robert, you make a lousy employee. You can't follow orders. You don't like sitting still. And you're not very smart. I said, right. He says, you'd be very good over here. Because these guys aren't that smart. And that's the truth. That's why some of the richest people on earth are over here, because they're not smart. But they know how to surround themselves with smart people. And that's one of the biggest differences. And the other part is the investor. And the investor uses a different mentality, different emotions. The investor wants their money to work for them. And their words are, what's my return on investment? How soon I get my money back? See, most people have the money in a 401k. That's not an investment plan, it's a savings plan. An investor would not do that because it ties that money up too long. I want my money in and I want my money out. I want to know when it comes back to me. It's called velocity. How soon do I put it in? How soon does it come back? Savers put it in and they leave it there forever. It's a different value system. My rich dad said, you always tell an employee by their words. They use the same words all the time. So an employee will always say, I'm looking for a safe, secure job with benefits. Always. My rich dad also said you can always tell a self-employed person because they'll say such things as, I'm going to charge you 6% commission, like a real estate salesperson, or $100 per hour, or I'm going to charge you for the job by this much. So for these people, time is money. And the business owner, what they say, I'm looking for the smart people, best people, I'm looking for the best system. They don't, because they want to move on and start another business. They want to have multiple corporations. Very big difference. And an investor says, I want an ROI. Now, the theme song for the self-employed, the difference between the small business owner and the big business owner is very simply this. A big business owner, if they do the job right and build the company, they can leave. And when they come back, the company's doing better without them, more profitable because they have the bright people running it. A self-employed or a small business owner, if they leave, the income goes where? Down. Or if they have employees, they just ferret out they just take everything falls apart. So that's the difference. And also the difference between an S and a B is the size of their ideas. Like a lot of times I meet people come up to me and say, I want to start a hamburger stand. One hamburger stand, Whereas the same guy named Ray Kroc comes and says, I'm going to build a hamburger stand all over the world. Difference in vision, idea, and leadership skills. They're very, very different people. And the reason they're different is because emotions. This person here values, it's fear, so they want security. Security drives them hard. So they're fearful. This person over here is lack of trust. And these guys, they're highly specialized. They're also the most satisfying, because they have their own time, their own life, and all this. They're very happy this way, but it has its limitations also. And generally, these people are limited to about $500,000 a year max in here, just because time is money. Over here, it goes unlimited, how much you can earn. So there are very, very big differences in the thing. The investor here, their thing is they're neutral, emotionally neutral. In other words, what that means is they don't care if you're winning or losing. When somebody says, I go to somebody, the stock market's going to crash. The mutual funds get wiped out. They're not neutral. They're reacting. A true investor doesn't care if the market goes up or the market comes down because they're going to make money either way. That's an investor. They really do not care. They know that losing is part of winning. It's called money management, how well you do that and all this. Very, very neutral. And this person over here, the emotion is patience. You have to be patient. These guys want to get paid now. These people may not get paid, and the average, 3 years, right? They don't get paid. That's why the first question when somebody comes to ask me to invest in their company is, are you willing to work for free for 3 years? I go, no. I said, well, I don't invest with you. Because you're still thinking like this. So those are the emotional differences. Because today, just being an employee is suicidal. Today you have to be employee plus an investor. You can be self-employed plus investor. Okay, you have to be on both sides of the quadrant, is what I'm saying, minimum. Whether you're here, here, or here. If you ever want some time off, you have to be an investor today. So very simply on, starting from the age of 9 and 10, I started here and I stayed here. Does that make sense to you guys? I stayed here. Because this is my money working hard for me, so I don't have to work hard for money. It's a different point of view, and very, very different. The rich have the best investment, number one, because they have money. People say, how do you find a deal? I say, get rich. Because if you have money, they come find you. It's really simple. The thing about this one here, the richest or the fastest game in the world played today, the way to get rich forever has been this one. I talk about in this book how my rich dad went and bought one of the best pieces of white sand beach in Hawaii. And I said, how did you afford that? He wasn't making any money. He didn't have a job. He wasn't this. He says, how do you afford the best piece of beach in Hawaii? He says, personally, I can't afford it. See, none of these people could afford it either. It's about $10 million. Individually, you cannot afford it, but your business can afford it. It's one of the biggest secrets of all. So the reason I started here and learned to build businesses so I could invest. So I can take down bigger and bigger properties by this. Individually, I cannot do that. I don't earn enough money as an individual. But my company can. So the thing about the third book, which is Rich Dad's Guide to Investing, is called the 90-10 Rule of Money. The 90-10 Rule of Money very simply says is this, is that 10% of the people always make 90% of the money. Always. That's a very big part of it. And a big part of the investment book is how do you take your idea, build a business around it, and take your business public. So the reality, as I know, is every single one of you sitting out there in the audience, you have an idea that can make you exceptionally wealthy beyond your wildest dreams. Every one of you is creative enough to have an idea. The trouble is, when you went to school, they didn't train you to be a business owner. They trained you to be an employee working for the rich. What the rich have the ability to do is take their ideas and create massive businesses out of them. So you have your business, which does your investing for you. And the tax laws are written in your favor investing through a business. That's how the rich get rich, because they pay less in taxes, very simply because they invest through the B and I quadrants. Investing from here, the laws are written against you here. In America, 1943 was the Current Tax Payment Act, which made anybody who's an employee could not pay themselves first. Government gets paid first. If you get a pay raise, government gets a pay raise. Forever. Forever. You make $1 million, you still pay more in taxes, incrementally. 1986, they passed the Tax Reform Act of '86. All doctors, accountants, attorneys, and other, the laws were changed against them. But they never changed the laws for the rich, because this is how the rich have gotten rich, by owning corporations and businesses. And that's been in effect since 1215, which is the signing of the Magna Carta. So ever since the thing is, you have to know, you want to get rich, you have to play by the rules of the rich, because the rich make the rules. And for the last thing I'll say about taxes is this. If you're an employee, the tax laws is that your financial looks like this. If you're a business owner, your financial looks like this. And the big difference here is this, is as an employee, your first line item expense is tax. If you're a business owner, it's the last. That is the biggest loophole ever. And that's why the rich get richer. They can take their money that comes in here and goes in here, and these guys, the money comes in and goes there. Very big difference. So would you take 30 seconds and discuss whatever you have heard so far? Thank you very much.